1. Introduction. My name is Delia. I was born a slave. My mother and father were also slaves. We lived on a very big farm. This farm was our whole world. Every day, my life started before the sun came up. I woke up when it was still dark and cold. My work began right away. I worked from the early morning until late at night. There was always something to do. First, I carried heavy buckets of water from the well to the master's big house. My arms often ached from the weight. Then, I washed many clothes. I scrubbed them by hand until they were clean. After that, I cleaned all the rooms in the master's house. It was a very big house, so this took a long time. I also helped cook food for the master's family. They ate many good things, but often I had little to eat. The master's house was very beautiful. It had many rooms and was always warm, but my room was very different. It was small and dark. It was always cold, especially in winter. I slept on a thin mat on the floor. I felt like I was not a real person. I was like a shadow that moved around the house, doing work. No one saw me truly. No one listened to my thoughts. I was only 19 years old, but my hands were rough and hard from all the work. My back always hurt. My feet were always tired. I never thought about having a husband or a family of my own. I never dreamed of small, happy things like new clothes or a special meal. My mind held only one big dream. This dream was for freedom. I wanted to be free more than anything. I wanted to walk where I chose. I wanted to speak my own thoughts. I wanted to live a life where I was not owned by anyone. This dream stayed with me even when I was very tired. It was a secret dream deep inside my heart. It was the only thing that gave me hope in my hard life on the big farm. I knew it was a big dream, maybe too big, but I held on to it every single day. 2. A man watches me. One day, the master's son came home from the big city. His name was Jacob. He was a grown man, about 35 years old. He was tall, with dark hair and very sharp eyes. When Jacob arrived, everything on the farm felt different. His presence changed the air around us. Before, people did not look at me much. I was just a worker. My job was to serve and be quiet. But Jacob looked at me in a new way. His eyes followed me everywhere. When I cleaned the floors in the big house, I felt his eyes on my back. When I carried water from the well, I felt his eyes watching me. When I cooked in the kitchen, I knew he was near. It was a strange, heavy feeling. I did not like it at all. It made me feel very uncomfortable. I tried to look down. I tried to walk quickly from room to room. I tried to be like a shadow, just moving through the house without being seen. I hoped to be invisible like I had been before. But his eyes always found me. They were like two burning points, always seeing. I tried hard to ignore him. I focused on my work. I cleaned the kitchen until it shone. I washed the clothes until they were perfectly white. My hands were busy, but my mind was not calm. I felt a cold feeling inside me, a new kind of worry. It was not like the cold in my small, dark room. This was a fear that grew stronger each day. Then, Jacob started to speak to me. He did not ask about my work or give me orders like the master. He said other things. One afternoon, I was sweeping the porch steps. He came out and stood very close to me. "Delia," he said, his voice was low and quiet, "you are not like the other slave girls here on the farm." I did not look up. I just kept sweeping, my head bent low. My heart began to beat very fast in my chest. I did not know what to say to his words. I said nothing at all. His words made me feel much more afraid. Why did he say that? What did he mean by not like the others? I did not want to be different. I just wanted to be safe. I wanted to be left alone to do my work. I felt his great power. He was the master's son. He could do anything he wanted. He could speak one word, and my whole life could change in a moment. I hated this power that he held over me. I hated that he could decide my future with just a single thought. I had no voice of my own. I had no choice in my life. This feeling was very heavy. It was a new kind of burden, much worse than the hard work of the farm. It was the constant fear of him and the unknown things he might do. 3, a bad night. It was a very hot night. The air in the big house was heavy and still. Everyone else seemed to be asleep. The only sounds were the quiet chirping of crickets from outside. Delia was tired. She had worked all day, from early morning until late evening. Now, she just wanted to finish her last small task and go to her room. She needed to get some fresh water from the well and bring it to the kitchen. The water was for the family to drink in the morning. Delia walked quietly to the kitchen. The room was dark, with only a little light coming from the moon through the window. She picked up a jug. As she turned to leave, Jacob suddenly appeared. He walked into the kitchen without a sound. Delia was surprised. Her heart started to beat faster. She did not expect to see him there, especially so late at night. Jacob closed the kitchen door softly behind him. The sound was small, but it felt very loud in the quiet room. Delia looked at him. His eyes were not calm. They looked wild and strange in the low light. A feeling of cold fear started in Delia's stomach. She knew this was not good. This was different from his usual watching. He took a step closer to her, then another. Delia could not move. She felt like her feet were stuck to the floor. "Delia," he whispered. His voice was low and rough. "I want you." Delia felt a sudden rush of anger and fear. No, this could not happen. She shook her head. "No," she said loudly, her voice shaking. She tried to push him away with her hands. She pushed him hard, but he did not move much. Then Jacob grabbed her arm. His hand was strong and tight. Delia felt a sharp pain. She felt trapped, like a small bird caught in a cage. She could not escape his grip. Fear turned into a different kind of strength. With all her power, she hit his face. Her hand made a loud sound against his cheek. Jacob let go of her arm. He took a step back. His cheek started to turn red where she had hit him. For a moment, there was no sound at all, only the sound of their breathing. Delia looked at his face. It was no longer wild. Now it was cold and hard. His eyes were full of anger. He did not say anything more. He just stood there, looking at her with that cold, angry face. Delia knew she had to leave. She turned quickly and ran. She ran out of the kitchen and through the dark house. She did not stop until she reached her small room. She quickly closed the door and pushed the old wooden chair against it. She wanted to make sure it was locked. Delia stood by the door, breathing fast. Her body was shaking. Her heart was still beating very fast. She was safe in her room, but the fear stayed with her. The night felt long and full of danger. She could not forget Jacob's eyes or his words. She could not forget the feeling of his hand on her arm. It had been a very bad night. A hard lesson. The next morning the sun came up, but Delia felt no warmth. Fear filled her heart. She knew trouble was coming. Soon a loud voice called her name. It was the master. Delia walked slowly outside. Her legs felt heavy. The master stood there, his face red and angry. Jacob was with him. Jacob watched Delia, quiet like a stone. His eyes were cold. The master pointed to a tall wooden post. "Tie her," he ordered. 2 men came forward. They took Delia's arms and tied her hands tightly to the post. She could not move. Her body shook a little. The master spoke again. "She must learn her place," he said. Delia closed her eyes. A man with a long whip stepped close. The whip made a sharp sound in the air, then it hit Delia's back. A sudden, burning pain filled her. She bit her lip hard. She did not want to cry out. The whip hit again and again. Each time, the pain was stronger. Her skin felt like fire. She held back her tears. She would not let them see her break. She focused on staying strong. Jacob stood nearby through it all. He did not move or speak. He just watched. His eyes were on Delia, but his face showed nothing. This silence from Jacob was a new kind of pain. It was worse than the whip on her back. The whip hurt her body, but Jacob's silence hurt her soul. It told her she was truly alone. It told her he did not care. That was the hardest lesson of all. When it was over, they untied her. Delia slowly walked back to her small room. Her back was bleeding. Every step hurt. She lay on the cold floor. The pain was everywhere. But a new, strong feeling grew inside her. She could not live like this anymore. This farm was not her home. This life was not her life. She wanted freedom more than anything. That night, Delia made a decision. It was a promise to herself. She would escape. She did not know how or when or where she would go, but she knew she had to try. She would rather die trying to be free than live one more day as a slave. This hard lesson showed her the only path forward. She would find her freedom. 5. My long walk. The night finally came. I watched the sky from my small room. The moon was round and bright, a full moon. This was the night I had planned for. My heart beat fast inside my chest. I took a small, hard piece of bread. It was old, but it was food. I also found a bottle and filled it with water. These were the only things I would take with me. I opened my door very quietly. The big house was dark and silent. I walked on my toes, trying not to make any sound. Every small noise felt loud in the quiet night. Soon, I was outside. The cool night air touched my face. I started to run. I ran past the big fields where I worked every day. I ran past the tall trees of the woods. My legs moved fast, but my body was shaking with fear and excitement. I ran for a long time without stopping. Then I slowed down and walked. I walked all through the night. When the sun started to come up, I found a place to hide. I hid under thick bushes and waited for darkness again. I ate a small piece of the hard bread. I drank a little water from my bottle. I was very tired, but I knew I could not stop. Thoughts of the farm and the pain I felt there made me strong. For many days and many nights, I kept moving. I walked when it was dark. I hid when it was light. My feet hurt very much from walking. There were cuts and scrapes on them. My clothes became old and torn from the long journey. I was always hungry. My water bottle was often empty. I drank dirty water from small streams when I could find them. The days felt long and difficult, and the nights were cold. But I kept going. Each step was a step towards freedom. Each step gave me hope. One day, I saw a new sign. It told me I was in a different place. I had crossed the border to another land. I was in a place where people might help those like me. I walked slowly, feeling very weak. Soon, I saw a small house. I was afraid, but I knocked on the door. A kind woman opened it. She had a soft smile on her face. She looked at my torn clothes and my tired, dirty face. She did not ask many questions. She just helped me. She gave me clean water to drink. Then she gave me fresh bread and warm milk. It was the best food I had ever tasted. Another person, a man, gave me new, clean clothes. They were simple, but they felt wonderful on my skin. For the first time in many days, I felt safe. Tears came to my eyes. They were not tears of pain or fear. They were tears of great relief. I was not fully free yet, but I was closer than ever before. I was on my way. 6. A new place. After a very long journey, Delia finally reached a big city in America. The city was different from anything she had ever known. Tall buildings stood close together. Many people walked on the streets. Carriages and horses made loud sounds. The air smelled of many things: food, smoke, and new places. It was a new world, full of noise and movement. Delia felt a mix of fear and hope. She was alone, but she was also free. She walked for many hours, looking for a place to start. She needed food and a place to sleep. More importantly, she needed work. She saw a sign for a small pub. It looked busy. Delia took a deep breath and went inside. The owner was a man with a kind face. He saw Delia's tired eyes and worn clothes. He asked her if she could work hard. Delia said yes, with all her heart. She told him she was strong and ready to do anything. The owner gave Delia a job. Her work was to clean the pub every morning. She also helped to serve food and drinks to the people in the evenings. The work was hard, but Delia did not mind. She had always worked hard, but this time it was different. No one shouted at her. No one hit her. No one owned her. For the first time in her life, Delia felt truly free. This feeling was better than any food or soft bed. Every day, Delia woke up early. She cleaned tables, swept floors, and washed many dishes. She learned how to talk to the customers. They were friendly to her. She earned a little money, enough to buy food and a small room above the pub. She saved some money too. This new life was a dream come true. She worked from morning until night, but her heart was light. Sometimes at night, when the city lights were bright, Delia looked out her window. She saw the stars. Her mind would sometimes go back to the farm. She thought about Jacob. Did he still look for her? Was he angry? Did he wonder where she went? But Delia quickly pushed these thoughts away. The past was behind her. She was here now in this new place. She was not a slave anymore. She was Delia, a free woman building her own life one day at a time. She had a future and it was her own. 7, he looks for me. Jacob was very angry. Delia was gone. He felt a strong fire inside him. He could not believe it. How could a slave girl just disappear? He had never lost something like this before. He wanted her back. He called his men. He told them, find her. Search everywhere. He sent them to many towns and cities. The men rode their horses for many days. They asked questions in markets. They looked in small houses. They searched by rivers and in forests. They searched for many weeks, then many months, but Delia was not there. She was not in their towns. She was not in their cities. She was far away in a new land. The men came back. They told Jacob, we found nothing. She is truly gone. Jacob's face turned red with anger. He slammed his hand on the table. He could not understand. Jacob felt a deep anger that was not just about Delia. It was about his pride. He was the master's son. He was powerful. People always did what he wanted. But Delia did not. She said no. Then she ran away. This made him feel weak. It made him feel small. He thought about her often. He tried to forget her face, her strong spirit, but he could not. He wanted to show everyone that he was still in control. He wanted to find her and bring her back, but he failed. His pride was broken like an old dish. He could not fix it easily. He felt a dark cloud over him, a feeling of defeat. Far away in the big city, Delia did not know about Jacob's search. She was busy with her new life. Every day she worked hard at the pub. She cleaned tables. She served food. She washed many dishes. But now her work was different. She was paid for it. She was free. She used some of her money to learn new things. She went to a small school at night. A kind woman taught her to read. At first, it was hard. The letters looked like strange shapes, but Delia tried every day. Soon, she could read simple words. Then she could read small stories. This was a new kind of freedom for her mind. She also met new people. They were not masters or slaves. They were friends. There was a woman named Clara who worked at the market. They talked about their day and laughed together. There was also a man named Thomas, a baker. He sometimes taught Delia how to make good bread. Delia smiled more now. Her face was not always sad. She felt lighter. She no longer lived in fear. The fear of the whip, the fear of Jacob, it was gone. She walked with her head up. She chose her own path. She was building a safe place for herself, brick by brick, in this new world. 8. I am free. Many years went by. Delia lived in America, staying in the big city where she first found work. She never saw Jacob again. His face was only a memory now, like a bad dream from long ago. She built a good life for herself, slowly, day by day. The city became her true home. She worked hard at the pub, cleaning tables, serving food, and helping in the kitchen. She made new friends, kind people who knew nothing of her past. They only knew Delia, a strong woman who often smiled and always helped others. Sometimes, when the wind blew cold, Delia remembered the farm. She remembered the master's big house and the hard work from morning until night. She remembered her small, dark room. Her hands still felt the cold water she carried, the heavy clothes she washed. She remembered the pain of the whip on her back, an ache that once lived deep inside her. She remembered the fear when Jacob looked at her. These memories were like old scars on her heart. They were part of her history, but they did not hurt as much anymore. They were simply reminders of where she had been. But more often, Delia remembered her own strength. She remembered the courage she found that night she ran away. She remembered walking for days and nights, alone but determined. She remembered finding help and starting new. She was not the same scared girl. The constant fear was gone from her eyes. The silence that had trapped her voice was broken. She could speak her mind freely. She could choose her path and make her own plans. She had learned to read many words, opening a new world of ideas. She had learned to laugh openly, a sound that felt truly hers. Every day was a small victory, a gift she did not take for granted. Freedom was much more than just leaving the farm. It was waking up each morning without fear. It was earning her own money, enough to buy what she needed. It was choosing where to go, what to wear, and what to do with her time. It was having friends who saw her as an equal, a person with thoughts and feelings. No one owned her mind or her dreams anymore. She was in charge of her own life now, making her own choices. This feeling was precious, a treasure she held close to her heart every single day. She had truly made a new life. She looked at herself in the small mirror. She saw a woman with strong, kind eyes and a confident smile. She was not a slave girl. She was Delia, a free woman, full of life and hope. Her journey had been long and very hard, but she had done it. She had survived. Her story was not just about sadness or the pain she had known. It was about standing up for herself. It was about finding hope when there was none. Most of all, it was about courage. This was her truth, and she carried it with deep pride. She was free, truly free, in every part of her being.